Hey guys, it's Steve again with a quick bat rep for you. It's a rematch, as promised, between Gearhart and Doomshaper2. Very quickly, the lists are Gearhart and Prima Materia with Alice, Suppressor, Vindicator, 2 Death Archons, 2 Ascendant Mentalists, 2 units of Failed Experiments, 2 units of Assault Troopers, and 1 unit of Combat Alchemists. And Doomshaper2 is running a Rune Bearer, Mulg, Earthborn, Rook, Axa, Pyre Troll, 5 Whelp solos, Creelstone, Min's Creelstone with a Stone Scribe Elder, 2 units of Bears, and a unit of Fire Eaters. And this is what the board looked like. The terrain for this on this table is 2 houses, which are pretty obvious. We've got 2 water features on the left and on the top right. We've got 2 forests and a wall, which are pretty obvious, and in the middle that's burning rubble. So this time I lost the roll-off, so I had to go second, so I chose this side. The reason I chose this side is because I felt like the house on my right would give me slightly more protection against ambushing bears. The other side, the house is a little bit further forward, and it was possible that my assault troopers wouldn't be able to get hidden up behind there in the first turn. So my opponent skewed over to the left-hand side a little bit, probably because of the asymmetrical scenario, and he decided to ambush the bears. So in his first turn, he just ran up, got everything up there, pretty straightforward. Tried to hide those fire eaters from my guns, but in my turn I was able to put snipe on my combat alchemist, set one of the grenades in the middle of there, and take out a couple of the fire eaters, set the other one on fire, so that was pretty nice. Other than that, I just ran everything up, made sure the Death Archon was not available to be ambushed on the left hand side this time. And I put out a couple of experiments to screen the rest of my army, just in case he decided to ambush in turn 1 on the other side, on the right. Other than that, we're all just jammed up in the middle. I had to use Operations Command, super useful in this list, to make sure that you don't trip over yourself when you're unpacking in the first turn. And yeah, stayed outside of that 14-inch threat range, as you can see from the stick there. And that's a very frustrated Rook. So my opponent decided that he wouldn't be able to make any particular attacks on this turn, so it was more of a reshuffle. Got the Earthborn up a little bit behind the burning rubble in the middle. Rook's just towing the zone on the right there, and Mulg is setting up inside of the snowdrifts, and everything else is just shuffling a little bit. So on my turn, I decided to try and lay down some attacks. I made a bit of a mistake with the suppressor, and I thought I could charge and then fail a charge and still make my sprays, but you actually can't do that. You have to do a trample. But because it was a trample, that means that boundless charge doesn't work. So I was 2 inches short. Otherwise, I was going to try and spray the Rune Bearer, maybe take out a couple of guys from the unit of stones, and that would have been pretty nasty, I think. Other than that, I got 2 charges up on the Earthborn with failed experiments using boundless charge, which is pretty sweet, and everything else just sort of ran up to screen a little bit. Also worth mentioning is I ran my combat alchemist on the left all the way up to contest the flag. So I was trying to be a bit careful, trying to spread out a lot more than last time to avoid Rook just munching through everything. It's actually quite difficult to avoid, but I could have been a little bit more careful with one of my one of my failed experiments, and just shut him down basically. But yeah, we'll see how that works out. And I also made sure this time to put up Psychokinetic Shield and Mortal Fear with the Death Archons, just to make my opponent's life a little bit more difficult this time. So the Earthborn got a little bit of damage, managed to get shots on him with the Vindicator as well to weaken him slightly. I didn't do a huge amount of damage. I think I missed some attacks, which is disappointing, but not to worry. My opponent's turn. So another signature Rook rampage. So he spent quite a lot of time working out how to do it, but eventually managed to get Rook munch through a load of my stuff on the right hand side there and get all the way to Gearhart. But unfortunately he wasn't quite efficient enough, and he ended up needing one more attack to kill Gearhart. Left him on 4 boxes and didn't quite kill him. Other than that, Mulg managed to take out the suppressor by trampling over the combat alchemist. Unfortunately, he didn't kill him, so he remained to contest the flag. And did a little bit of work with the Axa, just killed a few things. But it was a failed assassination run, and it left me open to retaliate as hard as I possibly could. and that looks like this. So my retaliation ended up killing Rook, and obviously using the feat, killing Rook and the Earthborn. And then I kind of fluffed killing Mulg. I think I got him down to only about 15 boxes, which wasn't that great. And the Axer, I think, got left on 3 boxes, something like that. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to fit enough guys in to finish them both off. I also didn't get feet on them either. So if I'd been a little bit more careful, it's possible that I might have been able to feat onto Mulg, get the prey onto Mulg, and then that would have helped not miss some of my attacks, and also to do the extra damage that I needed. But that's the way it goes. But because I committed to the attrition pretty hard on this turn, I didn't realise that I actually won on scenario, so I wasn't paying enough attention to scenario. I was making sure that I wasn't losing on scenario and scoring as many points as possible, but it worked out that that was actually enough to close out the game. So I was able to score on my second turn and stop him from scoring. Then I was also able to score on his turn. He didn't contest my flag, which meant I was going into this turn, I was ahead by 2 points. And then because I killed Rook and the Earthborn in the zone and had a whole unit in there that scored the zone, also scored the flag on the right with the Mentalist, and scored the flag on the left with the Death Archon. So that was this, and I was still contesting the flag on his side of the table. So that was enough, and that's what I needed to close out the game. Other than that, I think if my opponent had one more turn, he would have killed all the stuff around the Axer and Mulg. But that's probably around about it. And then after that, I'm pretty free to do more turns of attrition. So I think that was the turning point in the game in terms of attrition anyway. Still got on Death Archon free, who he can't really deal with, I think. Yeah, so he'd be worried about assassination at that point, I think. Cool. Anyway, so that was the rematch. I think we've decided that it's a pretty bad matchup for Doomy 2. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.